Hi, welcome to Bonds After Baby. I'm LMFT Evie Empress, and I'm here to help you and your family relationships experience more relief and connection during the stage of pregnancy, postpartum, and early parenthood. Remember to subscribe for my podcast here and on YouTube, and sign up to my email list on my website, bondsafterbaby.com, for free resources for your family. In this episode, I'm talking family vacations, how to maximize connection and get some needs met. I'll go over what research says about family vacation and offer 5 tips to make intentional and loving decisions with your partner to set the stage for fulfilling and bonded family vacations in this stage of parenting babies and young children. I thought this would be a good time for a vacation episode. I do hope to have listeners from different hemispheres, but August for many North Americans and Europeans is a month or a few weeks of taking off. I'm actually hopefully on a beach somewhere when this episode is released. So, vacation can look different to all of us, whether it's a road trip for a few days to a local campground, or a visit with extended family, or a resort or trip to a faraway place, really doesn't matter. The scale or expense of the travel is certainly not the value and does not affect the capacity for bonding and connection and making lovely memories. So many social media narratives share humorously and bitterly, right? How it's just not a vacation when you're a parent, it's a different location with the kids. And yes, it's true. There are still the same caregiving needs around the clock that are especially intense in the early years of parenthood. I remember being very shell shocked when I was expecting to relax on our first vacation after our first child was born, our daughter. And I was like, why are we still so tired? What's going on here? Isn't this vacation? I just didn't have a realistic expectation of what it would be like. Now, of course, this can look different if there's childcare available, like family to help, or if you're at one of those resorts with the kids centers where you can drop off. But in any situation, it's best to kind of look at, okay, what resources do we have or not have on this trip? And how can we as a couple make decisions together within this reality? In other words, like, do we have caregiving help or not? How many days do we have total? What are the needs that have to be met? What responsibilities do we have to keep up with? And where can we be more flexible and spontaneous? It's better to accept reality about the situation and then plan accordingly. I've seen, sometimes if we just ruminate about what we wish it would be, it's really not helpful in the end. And how can you just maximize what opportunities there are actually in the vacation? With your partner, I recommend acknowledging what's felt really hard or grueling. Share compassion with one another. Discuss how you want your baby or small children to experience your family's special trips. Remember, it's what we actually experience, not what we're told, that makes an impact. So whether that's for us as adults and parents or kids, someone can say over and over, oh, I'm so glad we're on this trip and I love being here with you. But unless we or our children are experiencing actual presence and behaviors that show enjoyment or show us that we're being treasured, it doesn't come across, the impact doesn't land. What are vacations an opportunity for? This is an important thing to ask. How do you guys as a couple want to take care of each other during this time? How do you want to enjoy it? I'm going to review a little bit about what research tells us about family vacations. So, definitely seen as a form of escape from the daily grind and the arduousness and the structure that can be rigid sometimes of everyday life, right? Even though, again, with small kids, it's still going to require like organizational work and emotional work. Family vacations are still an opportunity for togetherness and communication and deepening bonds, and with flexibility, right? With a little bit more room to pay attention, to be silly. One of the biggest takeaways from the positive effects of vacation is certainly creating memories that actually enhances the bond and supports a positive image or sense of the family. For example, like, parents sometimes walk away from a vacation and feel better about their relationship dynamics, their bond, and about their own level of happiness. Novel activities, right? New things that break the routine again of daily life. There's just so much fun and joyfulness in that. Um, and just having more opportunity to attune and focus on one another. There's often co creating meaning or traditions during vacations as well. There's an opportunity for that as well. Um, for couples, holidays sometimes can help couples reignite passion when they're less distracted with other things. One thing I was surprised about from the research on family vacations was that many saw it as an ideal time to discuss important life decisions, that they were less distracted, they had more bandwidth, and they could talk about things. They had more space to discuss, and that conversations with loved ones and partners during vacation about work, family, or relationship matters took action when they returned home. So these conversations during vacation became a catalyst for change. Um, Again, shared activities by parents and their children can create this unique experience that increases bonding and attachment and also creates a sense of loyalty within the family. If there's greater expressed interest in family activities, time spent together as a motivation rather than exercise and relaxation, for example, that often fostered more connection with the family. And even the anticipation of a family trip can just increase positive feelings about life, family, and overall health. Another cool opportunity in family vacations that a lot of people don't consider is actually to reinforce the values of your family. So, for example, my husband and I use vacation as an opportunity to share our values around normalizing and valuing rest over constant productivity and the kind of, culture we live in, a sense of discovery and adventure and wonder in nature, historical sites, art, architecture, to be curious about other places and cultures, and to be flexible and to adapt. A lot of unexpected things happen in travel, so it's really good modeling on how to roll with punches and just figure things out on the fly. If you're doing extended family trips too, if you're seeing grandparents or aunts and uncles or cousins, of course, this is an opportunity to spend time with family members they don't usually see, which is lovely bonding for, other members of the family as well. Now, there are certainly stressors, right? Like negotiations over a division of labor continue. That if that's usually going on at home, it's going to continue on vacation, or it's likely to. And when there's an unfamiliar setting, or there's an illness, or some unpredictability that often happens in traveling with young children, that can disrupt family harmony. I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm not looking forward to the 11-hour plane trip with an 18-month-old that I have coming up. So, sometimes certainly it's emotionally absorbing and labor intensive and expensive. And this can be stressful. And sometimes also there's so much emphasis on children's activities and interests and less, space for parents' leisure and relaxation. And although leisure can be, even planning leisure activities can be like work, even with all these stressors, research shows that it's still overall such an opportunity to adapt, navigate, and again, work through conflict resolution, right? I mean, this was, I think, my fourth episode. Like, you cannot avoid conflict. Avoiding conflict is not a productive goal. Conflict is there. So, how do you want to navigate it? I mean, you can, again, this is more modeling for your children, and stuff like that still comes up on vacation with kids, right? Another really important element here is presence with one another. At a time when there aren't as many distractions and it's just less moments of being pulled in different directions when you're on a trip, that doesn't mean you won't be distracted. You got to be intentional about this. Are you still in a state of being distracted in your couple relationship or with the kids? Keep an eye out for how technology is getting in the way of connection. So, smartphone use is correlated with alienation and families and disconnection. I'm not saying to, throw the smartphone out the window. You still use them, but it depends on how you're using them, how often, and whether it's blocking moments that you could be having with your family members. Also interrupts from the experience, not that you're just having together, but from the experience with the location that you're in. And this models that for the children too. Now, this goes for kids and couple and all around. So, keep an attention towards this. Are you distracted? Are you thinking of work a lot? How often are you picking up your phone? Are you really there and present? These are conversation points to have with your partner or spouse about family trips that can make things more intentional. Okay. So, one, if you're sitting with your partner, ask, what are our goals and desires, our longings for ourselves, our relationship time, and our kids on this trip? Two, what are ways that we can give each other some recharge time and special couple time and time enjoying the kids, right? Like, how can we make space for, hey, I'll take the kids, you go by the pool for 2 hours. And also, when the kids are asleep, how do we want to spend that time? And what are some fun ways we want to like hang out with the kids? What are some activities they really love? Three, how do you want to commit to presence with each other? And what kind of boundaries could there be around phone and work calls, etc.? Four, what are ways that you as a couple can be in each other's corner on the same team to navigate the needs of the kids, and not become adversarial, like tit for tat, like you against me, or I did more, you did more. Like, how can we actually come to the same page and say, this is the stuff that's going to have to get done every day? How can we work together to get it done and still try to have some relaxing time? Okay. I don't mean these conversations to be rigid with everything rigidly planned. I know it's supposed to be vacation where we turn off and let go and relax the mind and the body as much as possible with small kids. But when some intentionality and thought is given to this, when you guys as a couple can really get on the same page, the rest will be easier. It'll actually be preventative for more tension or conflict coming up. And then it becomes habitual and easier with time after you exercise these kind of muscles of having these conversations and navigating the responsibilities together. And it's important to make some expectations and hopes explicit. We can just show up with more accountability that way. So I hope you and your family will have or have already had some unstructured time to slow down, tune into each other and the beauty around you, and to get to relax as much as possible with these young kids. And if you want all the resources at your fingertips, I'll be offering freebie goodies in the near future. Sign up for my email list at bondsafterbaby.com to get the goods, and subscribe to my podcast and my YouTube channel, Bonds After Baby, so you can get notified when there's a new episode. I'm here for you and your family. See you next week. Bye.